Good evening. My name is Kyle Stone. Welcome to our committee and board meetings this evening, March 22nd, 2023. It is 6:45 p.m. I will make the requisite motion so that we can conduct these meetings virtually. To conduct this meeting wholly electronically, the Park Authority Board needs to make certain findings for the record to evidence our compliance with Virginia Code 2.2-3708.2. These motions address this compliance. First, I'm going to conduct a roll call and ask each board member participating in these meetings to state your name and the location from which you are participating. I ask that each of you pay close attention to ensure that you can hear each of your colleagues. Following this roll call, we will vote to establish that every member can hear every other member's voice. We will go alphabetically. Also, as the evening progresses, if additional board members join us for our meetings, I will ask them to verify their audibility and location. So going around the room, do we have Abena yet? Okay.
Not yet.
All right, Dr. Carter.
Yes, this is Cynthia Jacobs Carter, and I am participating from my home in Franconia District.
All right, Maggie.
Hi, this is Maggie Godbold, and I'm participating from my home in the Sully District.
Linwood.
This is Linwood Gorman. I'm participating from my kitchen in the Mount Vernon District.
Tim.
Tim Hackman from my residence in Dranesville District.
Ron.
This is Ron Kendall, participating from my home in Mason District.
Faisal.
This is Faisal Khan. I'm at my residence in Providence District.
Ken.
Ken Quincy, participating from my home in the Providence District.
Mike.
Mike Thompson, participating from my office in Alexandria.
And Jim.
Jim Zook, participating from my home in the Springfield District.
I'm Kyle Stone, and I am participating from my office at George Mason University. Bill Bowie is absent and excused from tonight's meeting. At this point, I will pass the virtual gavel to Vice Chairman Godbold so that I may be heard to make the requisite motion. I move that the Park Authority Board certify for the record that each member's voice may be adequately heard by each other member of this board.
This is Maggie Godbold. You all have heard the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you very much. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. That motion passes, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you. Again, this is Kyle Stone. Second, I move that the Park Authority Board will hold an all virtual public meeting because circumstances warrant the holding of an all virtual public meeting, including but not limited to the convenience of an all virtual meeting.
This is Maggie Godbold. You all have heard the motion. Is there a second?
Ken
Tim
Quincy,
Hackman, I second.
We have multiple seconds. Is there any discussion? It has been moved and seconded. All of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. That motion passes.
Thank you again. Again, this is Kyle Stone. Third, I move that one, the Park Authority Board has not had more than 4 all virtual public meetings or more than 25% of its meetings rounded up to the next whole number, whichever is greater during the calendar year since the emergency order was lifted. And 2, the Park Authority Board's last meeting was not an all virtual public meeting.
This is Maggie Godbold. You have heard the motion. Is there a second?
This is Cynthia Jacobs Carter, and I second the motion.
Thank you, Cynthia. It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. That motion passes.
Great. Again, this is Kyle Stone. As a result, I further move that the Park Authority Board conduct this meeting electronically through a dedicated video and audio conferencing line, and that the public may access this meeting by calling 602-333-0032 and entering access code 646450.
This is Maggie Godbold again. You have heard the motion. Is there a second?
This is Cynthia Jacobs Carter, and I second that motion.
Thank you. This is Maggie again. It has been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. That motion passes.
Thank you. Again, this is Kyle Stone. Finally, I move that the meeting of the Park Authority Board be held this day is in conformance with this body's all virtual public meeting policy, and as such, the meeting notice indicated that the public meeting will be all virtual, and the notice stated that the method by which the Park Authority Board chose to meet would not be changed unless the Park Authority Board provided a new meeting notice in accordance with VA Code 2.2-3707. Public access to this meeting is provided by electronic communication means that allows the public to hear all participating members of the Park Authority Board. Audiovisual technology, if available, is used to allow the public to see the members of the Park Authority Board during this meeting. A phone number, email address, or other live contact information is provided to the public to alert the Park Authority Board if electronic transmission of this meeting, I'm sorry, this is just hilarious. There's so much to read. Electronic transmission of this meeting fails for the public. And if such transmission fails, the Park Authority Board will take a recess until public access is restored. A copy of the proposed agenda and all agenda packets have been made available to the public electronically. At the same time, such materials were provided to the members of the Park Authority Board. The public is afforded the opportunity to comment through electronic means, including written comments at meetings where public comment is customarily received, and there are no more than 2 members of the Park Authority Board together in one physical location.
Thank you, Kyle. This is Maggie Godbold again. You have heard the motion. Is there a second?
This is Cynthia Jacobs Carter, and I second that motion.
Thank you, Cynthia. This is Maggie Godbold again. Is there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. All right, Mr. Chairman, the motion's approved.
Thank you much. This is Kyle Stone. Now that the preliminary matters are complete, we can begin the budget committee. Before we do that though, has Abena joined us?
No, she has not yet.
Still not, okay. Well, in that case, Ken, the floor is yours.
Where's Kevin?
Ken, are you muted?
He was here.
I don't see him.
I don't either. We might have
Well,
lost
as
him.
vice chair, let me call the budget committee to order. Josh, you have a presentation for us?
Thank you. This is Josh Coleman, Business Office Manager with the Park Authority. I'm going to share my screen now and bring up the presentation. Can everybody see the screen? Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. So tonight I'm here to talk on the fee adjustments to the published fee schedule for 2023. I have a quick presentation for you here, recapping some of the public comment we've received and moving forward from there. So just as a reminder in terms of kind of the process that we've gone through for the fee proposal and this process, the board authorized the advertisement of the fee proposal back in December. We had that 30-day public comment period that ran from January through early February, including a virtual public comment meeting. We are here tonight for action on the proposed fee adjustments, and if approved, the fee adjustments would take effect on April 1st. Wanted to recap the public comment and the feedback that we received. Overall, we had 11 comments submitted either in person at the public comment meeting or electronically via email. And kind of the summary of the comments here, as you can see, 4 were more generalized opposition to the overall fee package and a focus on the consideration of equity impacts as opposed to economic impacts. Another 4 comments generalized in terms of lowering the senior age or holding senior fees and or making some programmatic adjustments to water aerobics classes. I would point out on those, and I believe it's in the approval memo, a number of those fees are not actually recommended for adjustment in this package. There were some questions on Park Authority efficiency and ways to achieve cost savings, membership fee increases, and childcare at Cub Run. Again, membership fees were not included in this package, and some cleanliness comments on the rec centers in general. So overall, relatively limited response. We did want to take a moment and, looking at the first item there and kind of the overall opposition just to fees in general, and really focusing on the equity impacts, wanted to just have a quick slide or two as a reminder in terms of where these fees are applied and why we're charging fees generally. And really, as we look at this, the Park Authority Revenue and Operating Fund, and that's where all these proposed fees are operated out of. That fund makes up just over 60% of our overall operating budget. And that fund is required to recover all the associated costs and financial obligations. So we need to operate at 100% or greater cost recovery. Again, all of the fees in the package are services that are operated out of the Revenue and Operating Fund. And the only way to cover increased operating costs is by raising fees. I think at some of the previous presentations in terms of the authorization to advertise the fee package, we talked about the increased expenses that the Park Authority is experiencing in the Revenue Fund due to salary increases to the tune of $1.8 million in 23, the CPI impact on our operations. And that's really the impetus for why we need to continue to look at raising fees in our current structure. Just to show this again in terms of our operations and that general fund, taxpayer support versus revenue fund, our fees making up that support. You can see the primary areas here, this dark blue, these dark blue bars are golf, rec centers, RMD operations, and managed parks. This is where our fees are being charged out of, and they are either fully subsidized by the revenue fund. So again, the fees we're charging, or nearly, the primary funding is the revenue fund. So while we understand, and I think are hoping in the future that we can continue to better take into consideration any equity impacts. Right now, the reality is that we do have an economic impact every time fees go up for us, every time expenses go up for us, that we have to raise fees in order to meet the obligations of the fund. I think, again, in the future, as we have some of the work done by our equity consultant, we can continue to highlight this challenge for the Park Authority. But just wanted to give kind of a quick recap on that side, since that's where a number of the comments had come in for the feedback we received. So really, lastly, the action that we're asking for tonight is a recommendation and an action to approve all the proposed fee adjustments as advertised. Again, that action is requested tonight and the fee changes to take effect April 1st, 2023. That wraps up the brief presentation I had for you. I'm happy to take any questions.
This is Linwood. I've got a question. A thought just popped into my head for the first person's comment, although not feasible at this moment, and we all agree it would be a good thing and we should work towards achieving that comment. It's just not possible now. But as we present our budget each year to the Board of Supervisors, do you think we could make that calculation actually a line item? In other words, say to the Board of Supervisors, we're raising our fees this much this year. We intend to generate this amount of revenue with that. If you would like us to keep our fees as equitable and low as possible, you could subsidize this and we could not do our fee increase. Do you think that's a calculation we should start doing and an approach that we could take with it?
Hi, I'll take this one, Josh. Jay Cole, Executive Director of Park Authority. I think that this is probably hopefully the last time we're not going to be having that conversation. I think that that's really the focus of the equity consultant, and we're going to be starting that conversation and us raising fees and the balance between revenue and fees. That's going to be the bulk of the conversation coming up this fall about that. So I think that that's going to, exactly what you said, is going to be the bulk of the conversation starting this fall. So I guess there's a very long-winded way of saying yes. but not right now because we're still working through everything with the consultant.
Thank you.
This is Tim Hackman. Is Ken back with us? In Ken's absence, are there any other? Yes.
I'm sorry, Tim. I don't see your video. I don't know if you can see me raising my hand. It's Mike.
Sorry, I did not. It was off. I apologize for that. Yes, Mike, please.
Thanks. I appreciate what we're talking about in terms of fees and long term where we want to go. But and maybe I'm just overly pessimistic, but from what I'm hearing, we don't expect there to be tremendous amounts of new funding from the county over the next couple of years. And they don't see it as a tremendously positive economic situation that from just from a county standpoint. So I guess my assumption is that at least for a couple more years, we may find ourselves in a situation where if we want to keep providing the services that we're providing, as costs go up, we're going to have to continue to look at increasing fees to provide those services or cut those services. I agree with Linwood that long term the conversation needs to be had about what the Board of Supervisors expectations are. But at least my impression is that they don't see themselves in a position to take on any kind of significant new expenses over the next couple of years. Am I missing something?
Well, even if this is Kyle Stone, even if that's true, there's no reason not to ask and put to Linwood's point and put it in front of them.
I'm agreeing with that piece. I just don't want, as people from the public may listen to this or maybe look at these, I just don't want to raise expectations that somehow next year, that this is the last time we're coming forward with fee increase issues that we're going to have to address. We want to continue to provide the services.
It's great. Any other comments, questions on Josh's presentation?
Tim,
yes, Kyle.
This is Kyle Stone. This is probably more a question for Mike. Mike, going back to that presentation, I think it was like the second or third slide where we showed how the percentage of revenue to general fund changed over time. Just curious, I probably should have this number memorized, but do we know what the dollar amounts in 1998 were versus now? I mean, obviously the percentage changed, but what are the actual dollars?
Kyle, this is Michael Peter, Administration Division Director. If you just give us a moment, we can get that information.
That's fine. No real rush. That was it, Tim.
Okay, thank you. This is Tim Hackman. If there are no other comments or questions, thank you, Josh, for your presentation. Is there consensus to move this item forward to the board?
Yes.
Thank you. Hearing that there is consensus. If there's no other action for this committee, I hereby adjourn the Budget Committee.
Thank you, Tim. This is Kyle Stone. I understand, Abena, you have joined us. Can you please, for the record, state your name and the location from which you are joining?
Sure. I'm Abena Adu Houghton, and I'm joining from my home in Franconia District.
Thank you. Allison, is that all I needed to do?
That's it. Thank you.
Good deal. All right. With that, we can now begin because it's after 7 o'clock, we can begin our formal board meeting this evening. Call to order of the March 22nd, 2023 Park Authority Board meeting at 7:04. Ben, do we have any speakers signed up this evening?
Mr. Chairman, we do. We have 2 speakers signed up. We'll first hear from Mr. Brendan Gibson from the Friends of Fairfax County Indoor Track. He will be followed by Christian Canane from the Gunston Soccer Club. As we begin, we would like to remind our speakers of the 5-minute time limit that you have. I'll be keeping track of time, and I'll give you a 30-second prompt to hopefully help sum up your comments before the time runs out. We'd like you to also begin with your name. So at this time, Mr. Gibson, you're welcome to have the floor.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. My name is Brendan Gibson, and I'm representing the Friends of Fairfax County Indoor Track. I've lived in Fairfax County off and on for more than 20 years. And for several of those years, I've coached youth track with Fairfax Police Youth Club, a school. I also done a school-based after-school elementary running program, and both my sons have run at South Lakes High School. Thanks for the opportunity to speak briefly about our organization and what our goals are, and some considerations for an indoor track for Fairfax County. So one of our goals is to help voice the interests and concerns of the track and field running community, which includes school athletes of all ages, parents, independent running clubs, and then adult and senior participants. We'd also like to keep Fairfax County residents informed of the current status of the new sports facilities being considered by the county to include an indoor track. We'd also like to raise the profile of the track and field running community in consideration of those athletic facilities. Track and field does not necessarily have a representation on the athletic board for the county, for example. So we'd like to supplement that and help get the word out. And we'd also like to encourage innovative and creative approaches for funding an indoor track facility that would require less or perhaps no need for government funding. There's some other models out there that we'd like to briefly touch on. So our understanding of the current situation is that based on the final report of the Sports Tourism Facility Opportunities, which provided a prioritized list of sports facility projects, the county is moving forward with requests for information to solicit public, private, or maybe just private partnership proposals for the sports facilities that were recommended in the report. And from our perspective, we feel strongly that there is an unmet need in the county for a state-of-the-art indoor track facility. One of the things mentioned in the report was that there is that an indoor track is the only facility type mentioned that has no similar facility available in the county open to public use. For example, high schools in the area, we don't have anything to use for meets. We have to go over to the Sportsplex in Prince George's County, which is a bit of a trek. There's some expense there, time. Additionally, our high school students have to travel to a wide range of locations that have those facilities during indoor track season. Liberty University, VMI, Virginia Beach, again, cost, time, expenses that we could alleviate if we had something here. We also think there's a strong and growing demand. As you're probably aware, that superintendent of the schools has pushed for middle schools to begin a fall cross-country and spring track season to help encourage middle school athletic participation. In PG County, there's been a couple meets just at the start of this year they're called all-comers meets, where in one case, which was a not well advertised one, there was 1,000 competitors, primarily youth, that attended, and then a more well-organized event drew 2,500 competitors to that same Prince George's facility. I also mentioned that I coach a youth track club, or help coach, and we have to cap our registration every year at 350 kids, and we sell out every year for both cross country and outdoor track. And then there's Masters running program that has large participation locally, but those events, regional events and national events, draw thousands of competitors, 1,000 for the U.S. Regional events. And then if we're thinking big for the county to raise the profile of the county, the semi-annual World Masters Championships, for example, that's next week. There's 4,000 competitors registered for that. So we know that the expense of building an indoor track facility is pretty high. I saw that in the 2020 study. But across the states, there's been numerous examples of indoor track facilities that have been built using a more of a private partnership model. So I think there's some examples that we could draw on to help make this a reality for the county. One example is Louisville, Kentucky. They just completed and opened a facility in 2021. Cost was $53 million. It's an indoor track with hydraulically banked turns, seating for 4,000 people. Also has a rock climbing wall, bowling alley, and another.
Mr. Gibson, apologies, just a 30-second warning here.
Okay, thank you. So how did they do that? They had the city chipped in 10 million. The a healthcare company for the naming rights pitched in 5 million, and then there's other loans and corporate sponsors. And so our ask is, how can we as an organization, Friends of Fairfax County Indoor Track, work together with county, local governments, the board here, industry, and the rest of the community to try and make this a reality. I know you can't answer those questions, but we'd like to get this on the radar and offer our help to do that. Thank you for your time.
And thank you, sir. Really appreciate that. Appreciate your comments. Next this evening, we have Christian Kinane, who has joined us from Gunston Soccer Club. And Christian, the time is now yours. Do we have Mr. Kinane? I believe I saw him a moment ago. Does not appear to be on the meeting any longer.
I see him on the meeting. Here he is.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
Sorry, I was waiting for you to unmute me and waiting for me to, so no worries.
No, time is yours. Yep.
Good evening, all. Thank you very much for the time. I certainly appreciate it. I'm attempting to, add my video screen here for a moment as well. As Ben mentioned, good evening, all. As Ben mentioned, I'm here on behalf of Gunston Soccer Club. For those who aren't familiar, Gunston Soccer Club is a youth recreational league that's here in the Mount Vernon area, and they've been in existence since about 1991. Thousands upon thousands of our neighbors and friends have gone through the club over that time. And one of the things that I've noticed as a relatively new participant within the league is that during game days, there aren't any options for food or beverage that are available at the facility on game day. Grist Mill Field is the field that I'm talking about specifically for the youth group. In doing my research and looking through work that the league has already taken on to try to make something come to fruition, I've noticed that there's a couple of hurdles in getting food vendors out to the facility on Saturdays or game days. And ideally, what I'd like to do is present a way that we, the county and its citizens, can generate some additional revenue for the county. Obviously, the budget meeting that happened before this presented a lot of gaps and things that we could do and suggestions, good ones, on how we might be able to fill those gaps. This might be a solution for, or at least something to contribute to that solutions. Right now, there's currently a 15% gross fee for any vendor who wants to come out to the park and sell. As an example, food trucks. That's what we're thinking about, having a collection of licensed and approved vendors come out to the Grist Mill Field on Saturday's game day and provide their services and provide their delicious food to hungry parents who need caffeine, who want Danish and whatnot. It's something to get through the day. Right now, I've been working with and contacting probably 15 different vendors over the last month to say, who's interested in something like that? Each one of them have said, yes, I'm happy to do that. And when I tell them that what you'll need to do in order to participate, in order to give, engage with the community and be there, is you're going to need to take 15% of every dollar that you make and give it to the county. Gross receipts, right out of the gate. Each one of them have said, whoa, because 15% of a small business's revenue is a bit much for any small business owner to swallow. So what I'd like to propose is, instead of having what we small business owners feel is an exorbitantly high percentage of gross sales to contribute, drop that rate to 3% of gross sales and roll out a program that's across the county where we do have licensed, approved, vetted vendors who are on the list of people that we know we can trust, and make sure that instead of driving the high cost on a one single or two single people, instead present a low cost structure for hundreds of vendors to participate at hundreds of fields each week. Simple math from my part is, with the league, on an average Saturday, we guesstimate anywhere between 1,100 and 1,600 people attending between the hours of 9 and 2. that's a lot of potential revenue that could come in the doors that simply isn't there. I don't know how else to frame it, but I certainly want to come up with a solution where we can put, at the very least, a small pilot program into place, test it out at Grist Mill, where I am, already working with the league's directors and executive staff to approve this. They're all on board. But I want to make sure that we can do something that works for everybody, provides, wonderful meals and treats and caffeine to hungry and tired parents every Saturday morning. The same thing with providing new business opportunities for small business owners. A lot of the folks that I've contacted that do run these trucks are small minority-owned businesses. Why not include them and offer empanadas and delicious churros and all sorts of good food that we all love? Why not offer that and start generating some actual revenue for the county, specifically for the parks? I think it's a win-win for everybody. I'd love for you guys to consider it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for those comments. Really appreciate that. Mr. Chairman, that concludes our signed up public comment for the evening.
Great. Thanks, Ben. Thank you, Christian, for your comments. Appreciate it. Moving on to administrative items. We've got 2 recognitions this evening. First administration item is a resolution to honor Carol McDonald, manager of Sully Historic Site for the Fairfax County Park Authority for more than 42 years of service.
Mr. Chair, this is Maggie Godbold. I'd like to move that the board pass this resolution to honor Carol McDonald.
Tim Hackman, I would second.
Great. Any discussion? Okay. I guess we got to call for a vote, and then I'll read the resolution. So all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Whereas Carol McDonald has distinguished herself as an exceptional public servant on behalf of the residents of Fairfax County for more than 42 years with the Fairfax County Park Authority, articulated by an unsurpassed commitment to the Park Authority and the preservation of historic and cultural resources with which she was entrusted. And whereas Carol's exceptional creativity and innovation in her stewardship of the Sully Historic Site has enhanced the guest experience and found unique ways to express the underlying stories and histories of one of Fairfax County's well-beloved historic sites. And whereas she has been critical to the success of major site initiatives, such as the research, construction, and programming of the representative quarter for enslaved people, the renovation of the east wing of the main house, the connection of the property to the county water system, and the development of the site's interpretive plan, cultural landscape report, trail concept plan, and master plan. And whereas Carol has been an outstanding ambassador to the community in establishing partnerships and associations leading to site investments, initiatives, and the establishment of successful community-oriented events, such as the annual Sully Car Show, Earth Day Fairfax celebration, and candlelight tours. And whereas under Carol's guidance, the Sully Historic Site has repeatedly and as recently as 2018 been accredited by the American Alliance of Museums. And whereas she has been an exemplary leader who is dedicated to her team and allowing them the ability to expand their skills and explore their interests, and has served as an influential mentor for dozens of staff, interns, and volunteers who have found success in various related career fields, attributable in part to her example, guidance, and support. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Fairfax County Park Authority Board that it expresses appreciation and thanks to Carol McDonald for dedicated and outstanding contributions to the Fairfax County Park Authority and residents of Fairfax County. Do we have comments from anybody? Anyone would like to make a comment? Not seeing any hands raised. So Carol, I'll turn the floor over to you if you'd like to say anything.
Kyle, I think Laura. Oh, okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I actually was just clapping to celebrate Carol's amazing accomplishment this evening and throughout her career. And just want to thank her for her commitment to the Park Authority and her commitment to sharing the history of Sully Historic Sites. So happy to be here tonight, and congratulations, Carol.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you so much. I just want to thank the Park Authority Board for this honor. I really appreciate this and all the support over the years. We've been working together on funding for resources to continue preserving and teaching about historic sites in Fairfax County. I've had a lot of comments about how long I've been around. While that is true, and it is my 42nd year with the county, I believe it is more about what you do, really, rather than how long you stay. So when I started, I was 23 and I had to pass a test on a typewriter at Colburn Run Mill. Email and the internet had not yet been used in Fairfax County. I really love this job at Sully with all its challenges and joys. It really has disciplined my mind in so many different ways. Learning and then teaching local history will always be with me. I've always really enjoyed and had the good fortune to work with really incredibly talented and dedicated colleagues, always working together in teams towards really big goals. Preservation and constant maintenance of Fairfax County historic buildings and landscapes and telling the stories of those who came before us will always be important. I really thank this organization for letting me be part of that long, long journey, but I think it's about time to end it. So thank you very much.
Carol, thank you. All right. Administrative number 2 is resolution to honor Cynthia McNeil, land acquisition, land management, and real estate services manager for the Fairfax County Park Authority for her 20 years of service.
This is Tim Hackman. I so move.
Do we have a second?
This is Cynthia Jacobs Carter. I second.
All right. Any discussion before we vote? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Whereas Cynthia McNeil has distinguished herself as an exceptional public servant on behalf of the residents of Fairfax County for 36 years, first as a project and construction manager for the Fairfax County Department of Public Works and Environmental Services, and then for the Park Authority, where she presently serves as the manager of the Real Estate Services branch. And whereas she has played a critical role in the creation of a land records management system for the Park Authority, Fairfax County's largest land steward, and in so doing facilitated excellent working relationships with the Department of Tax Administration, Public Works and Environmental Services, and GIS to correct and update the countywide land record system. And whereas because of her keen attention to detail and research methods, Cynthia has come to be known as a guru of all things real estate in the observation of her Park Authority peers and leaders, as she successfully guides the conversation in all land management and acquisition matters by providing clear histories, property details, records, timelines, and analysis. And whereas Cynthia has skillfully represented the Park Authority in land acquisitions since 2017, which have led to the acquisition of 286 acres of public land, including several historical sites such as the Old Colchester Inn, Fairfax Arms Tavern, and George Washington's Union Farm. And whereas Cynthia has been the recipient of numerous awards, including 5 Outstanding Performance Awards, Trailblazer Supervisor of the Year, several other individual and team awards, and whereas she is an outstanding mentor and a highly regarded leader who works tirelessly to put her staff in positions to succeed while offering continual coaching and guidance. And now, therefore, be it resolved by the Fairfax County Park Authority Board that it expresses appreciation and thanks to Cynthia McNeil for dedicated and outstanding contributions to the Fairfax County Park Authority and residents of Fairfax County. Does anybody have any comments they would like to make? Congratulations, Cynthia.
Kyle, I do.
Shoot.
Thank you. I just very quickly, Cindy's been the heart and soul of real estate for PDD for a long time now. And just to highlight her importance to the group, we're replacing her with 2 people. So if you can say that at the end of your career, that's pretty good. So I just want to thank Cindy for all of her amazing hard work and for putting us in a great shape we're in now.
Tim?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Tim Hackman. I would just like to say that I hope Cindy puts together sort of a mini procedures manual for everything that she's done, for all her techniques of research, for all her, and I hope she finishes her book on advantages and edges of real estate negotiations pretty quickly. But no, she's been just a real treasure to the Park Authority and to Planning Division, and we will sorely miss her. So thank you very much, Cindy.
Linwood?
This is Linwood. I've got a comment. Come on, Cindy, turn on your camera, man. Let's see. Wave to you one more time here. Just wanted to take a second to reiterate some things that I've told Cindy privately. I just really admire her attention to detail. I've enjoyed working with her and watching her work. Her ability to negotiate is excellent. I really enjoyed watching her do those things. And I want to thank you for your many accomplishments for us in the Mount Vernon district. Thank you very much, and we're going to miss you.
But Cindy is confused because she didn't know that she could speak or be present during open session. She's never been. This is the first time. She's like, I don't know what's happening right now. We're not in closed session. So.
Well, so yeah, this is unusual to see Cindy out of the closed session. This is nothing new. We keep losing very good people, treasures every now and then, but sometimes it feels like a gut punch, and this is one of that. So it's hard losing a treasure like this, but life must go on. Cindy, good luck with whatever you're doing, and we are going to miss you in the closed sessions and otherwise.
And
Cindy, I just want to second everything that's been said. You've just been a real treasure to the planning and development area. And wish you the very best in this next stage of your life. And don't forget us.
Cynthia?
Yes, I want to say to Cynthia, you're leaving the Cynthia Club, and so we're going to miss you so much. There are many Cynthias here, but none quite like you. You really explained everything so well, and are your treasure to work with, and we're going to miss you, so all the best to you. Cynthia.
Anybody else? I see a hand raised, but I don't know who it is.
That is my husband.
Oh.
My husband, Jack.
I think we can let him talk if he has something to say.
Yes, by all means, let him speak.
Cindy, would you prefer that his comments be done in closed session?
Probably.
Thank you for sharing her with us.
You're welcome. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me or not, but
we can. You are live.
Okay. First time I've ever been in a Park Authority board meeting. I just wanted to tell you how proud we are of Cindy and that we love her. My 2 sons are on the meeting with us, and hopefully she's, done a good job there. It sounds like she has. And it's our time to have her, though. So thank you for letting me.
An understatement. I think, as you can tell from the comments everyone's made. Cindy, the floor is yours.
Okay, so I do have a little bit to say. So good evening. I would like to thank sincerely the board and the staff who were involved in this acknowledgement of my service. I very much appreciate it, and I understand what it is, and I thank you. So as you know, I began my career at the county quite some time ago. I was young and I didn't know what to expect. STEM was not yet a word because technology had not yet been invented. The county was considered in its adolescent stage of development. So when I started at Public Works, I did a lot of construction management for the county's infrastructure. And there were all these 2-lane roads through the county. I mean, the Parkway had not been constructed yet. And so I worked on a whole lot of those projects, and it was the mecca for a civil engineer, Fairfax County was. And it was a wonderful time. There was so much to learn. It was very exciting. It was a lot of fun. And I never imagined the variety of projects, challenges, and successes that I would experience over the next 36 years. I never even thought past next week. So it has been a privilege, an extreme privilege, to work with this Park Authority Board. You all have a tremendous amount of talent and experience and depth, and you bring all of it, you volunteer all of it for our gold medal park system. I think that's extraordinary, and I thank you for that. I enjoyed hearing all of your perspectives, and I enjoyed all of our banter and our subsequent discussions in closed session. So thank you for that. I would like to thank all of the park directors who I have worked under, who have guided our work. The Park Authority is a very large ship to steer. It doesn't turn easily. And I truly appreciate all of your efforts. I've worked under Sarah and Amy for a very long time, and you all work so hard. And much of it is behind the scenes, but I see it and I know how hard you work. So thank you. I've been fortunate to work with an outstanding staff. Judy and Michelle are on this call. I have also worked with Andy and Pam and Donna and Laura, who are both retired. And all of those who I worked with before, who contributed collectively to our outstanding accomplishments that we achieved over the years. And in many days, it felt like we were rowing the ship with little plastic oars in a big ocean. But we rowed together, we rowed beside each other, and we provided great service to the citizens of Fairfax County. And those were some of the funnest times. We were just rowing and just not really sure if we were going forward, but we were trying. And finally, I would like to thank my beautiful family. Jack and I have 2 sons. As many people in the park family know, service in this park system places demands on your family time. So if you are a park employee, your family is on the journey with you, whether they like it or not. And it is only because of my family's ongoing support that I have been able to offer my best to the Park Authority. So in closing, I truly appreciate the opportunities that I was given. I will miss working with the best and the brightest, all of you. I will miss all of the friends I made, and I would like to say thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Sydney. This is Kyle Stone. Administrative item number 3, adoption of minutes for the March 8, 2023 Park Authority Board meeting. Do I have a motion?
Yes, this is Maggie Godbold. I move that we adopt the minutes of the March 8, 2023 Park Authority Board meeting.
And a second?
This is Cynthia Jacobs Carter. I second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Moving on to action items. Action item number 1, approval of fee adjustments to the published fee schedule for 2023. Do I have a motion?
Ken Quincy, I make a motion to approve the fee adjustments to the published fee schedule for 2023.
This is Tim Hackman. I second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. We have 2 information items this evening. Information item number 1 is fiscal year 2023 second quarter budget review, Fund 1001 in the general fund. And then information item number 2 is fiscal year 2023 second quarter budget review for Fund 80000, Park Services Revenue and Operating Fund. Chairman's matters. I've talked far too much already this evening. I'm going to keep this mercifully brief. Just want to say thank you to staff for all your work. And in particular, want to highlight the budget team. You guys are all working in overdrive right now. A lot of meetings to attend, a lot of presentations to write up, a lot of questions to ask, both of us and from the constituents. So thank you for your time. With that, Jay, floor is yours.
Very much, Jay Cole, Executive Director of Park Authority. I'm hoping, see, this is why Allison's awesome. I didn't have to ask necessarily. So for directors matters for March 22nd, I do have to say that we don't, the speaker before about indoor track was a fellow Seahawk. So I'm contractually obligated to say that I also went to South Lakes because his children went to South Lakes. So I just wanted to put that on the record. Go Seahawks. So first, this is really cool. So Huntley Meadows, a photographer at Huntley Meadows took this photo and submitted it to the World Wildlife Photography Contest, World International Photography Contest, and it won under the behavior birds category. So we have a Huntley Meadow photograph. This is the photograph that was won an international photography award. First place, behavior birds. Charles Smith, a longtime resident of Fairfax County, traveled to a variety of destinations for his award-winning shots, yet most of his photos originate right here in our local parks. And so here's a quote from him. It's a lot like fishing. It's about getting out there, being in nature, observing, relaxing, and recharging. It doesn't always matter whether you catch something, but when you do, it's magic. So that's really cool. I know Chairman McKay also did some outreach about this photo. So that's that photo. Next slide. Okay, another kudos and award-winning Riverbend Park Forest Preschool was featured in Outdoor America magazine. So kudos to Lauren Harper, Amy Cullen, and Kylie Stark on administering such an amazing and impactful program. Also a special thanks to Julie Gurney, who spearheaded the development effort, and to John Callow, Mary Oline, and Cindy Walsh for championing that work. And a quote from them, nature is an amazing classroom. Every day you can see something different, especially with the changing seasons. Things that inspire the child, inspire the teachers to learn more, ask questions, and build activities around their students' interests. So congratulations to Riverbend Park Forest Preschool. Next slide. Oh, look at this. We won something else. This is great. Park Authority Camps Rock. FCPA camp programs were named Northern Virginia Magazine's 2023 Best Summer Camps. So families can still sign up online for scholarships and register for Rec Pack, as well as our summer camps. It's in Northern Virginia Magazine. You'll be seeing this little stamp on a lot of our stuff that we were voted the best in Northern Virginia for summer camps, which is quite the accomplishment. Doesn't say so on the slide, but this is in very, very small part to Rec Services and R&D, or a very large part because they did all of it. So thank Laura and Cindy for making that happen. Congratulations to you both. Next slide. Okay, another one, Franconia Sparks. I know, but they just keep coming. It's fantastic. So the Splash Park at Franconia Park, Special Harbor, was nominated by the U.S. Today's People's Choice for Best Splash Pad. The QR code at the bottom, you can scan it. Right now, we'll send out the presentation because you can vote every day, preferably for this park, to win. So if you scan this code right here on the bottom, it'll take you to the voting page. I'll leave it up for a second. I see Ron's getting ready. It's great. Anybody else who wants to scan it, everybody scan and vote. I'm gonna scan too, because I didn't vote today. There we go. And allows you to vote on Franconia Park for the U.S. Today's People's Choice Award. So we're really hoping to win that. We're pretty high up on the list. And again, vote early and often. Next slide. Okay, so we wanted to put this on everybody's radar. Again, please join us for opening day celebration and the ribbon cutting for Patriot Park North. This is a phenomenal park that has so many pieces that put it together. I mean, just for the aesthetic beauty and the engineering marvel and the design work, come out and see all of the wonderful things that our park development division created. Also, you know, we're selling, registering for tournaments. People are very excited about this park. We're going to have the MLB who's going to be doing some activities at the park. We got a lot of stuff going on at this park. So please put it on your calendars for April 15th. It's at 8 a.m. For the ribbon cutting for Patriot Park North. And next slide. Ooh, I just heard we're number 2 in the voting. So I think if everybody on here votes, then maybe we can get to number 1 for the day. That's really great. Also, Earth Day celebration, as you know, we haven't done Earth Day for the last few years because of COVID, and this is going to be our first Earth Day back. Staff are working really hard on this event. This is a Park Authority takes the lead in scheduling it, but this is really the county's Earth Day event. So this is a countywide event. It's going to be taking place at Sully this year on Saturday, April 22nd. And from 10 to 4, please put it on your calendar and come by. It's, from what I'm told, this will be my first one. It's always a really great time. I do know that staff have been working tirelessly on this event. This is a very large lift, totally worth it, but it's a heavy lift. So please come out and support staff and the Park Authority and celebrate Earth Day, which is right in our wheelhouse for our mission. Next slide. Okay, so we just wanted to touch really quickly on some stuff that was presented at the board Tuesday. This is our proposed third quarter funding adjustments. Some really good news. This is proposed, it'll be voted on, I believe, in May. I was given notes in May. And so going through, because of the switch to the 4-year to a 6-year, so the CIP gap plus the increase in costs overruns that are associated with COVID, we have $5 million for CIP support to help with our cash flow issues and support some projects in getting ready for our 2026 bond. We proposed to receive $500,000 for forestry operations, which is a huge deal. We're really struggling with forestry right now. $400,000 for bamboo mitigation to comply with the bamboo ordinance for running bamboo. $350,000 for Confederate name changes at park properties. $250,000 for Sully Historic Site education initiatives. And the general fund, $178,000 for Agency 51 pay compression, $59,000 for Agency 51 recruitment bonuses, and in the revenue fund, $255,000 for recruitment bonuses. So, you know, this is going to really help us get to where we need to be. And I just wanted to report on that. Again, it's going to be voted on in May. Next slide. I think that's it. And that is it.
All righty then. Again, this is Kyle Stone. We'll now go around the horn for any board matters from board members. Abena?
I'll pass, thank you.
All right. Cynthia?
I think I'll pass as well. Thank you.
All right. Maggie?
This is Maggie. I want to thank the board for their support in the budget matters and taking the time to speak to my supervisor and for all the work they've been doing. I'm sort of echoing Kyle here, but thank you very much. It's definitely needed, and we all have to pull together on it. Thank you.
Thank you. Linwood?
This Sunday, Ides of Bart, Gristmill Park, 1 o'clock. Be there, be square.
All right. Tim?
Jay, awesome. Thanks to you and the team for the potential third quarter adjustments. Also, to those of you who love to see the bluebells along the Riverbend Park, their annual Bluebell Festival is Saturday, April 8th from 10 to 2. And Leslie and I were out yesterday, and they are starting to emerge, so they should be great at that time. Thank you very much.
Good deal. Ron?
Ron Kendall, and I don't have any comments this weekend.
Okay. Faisal?
I'll pass.
All right. Ken?
And Quincy, first I want to apologize for my unexpected withdrawal from the meeting, but I lost my connection and it took a while to get it back. The wonders of modern technology. I want to add to Jay's report because she left off one award. The Mid-Atlantic Off-Road Enthusiasts awarded our executive director the Land Manager of the Year award, and especially noted her her visit to 420 parks. Congratulations, Jay.
Thank you, Ken.
Ken, anything else?
All for me.
All right, thank you, Michael.
Yeah, just real quick, I want to thank Jay and the staff and all the folks who've been working so hard on Patriot. They've already got, I mean, the team has come together and put together a bunch of tournaments that are already in place. Sat through a presentation today talking about economic impact. There's going to be, those numbers are going to go up based, I mean, there's already a bunch of tournaments they hadn't taken into account, but I mean, we're talking numbers that are over $10 million in economic impact, all well over $10 million already on the books with the tournaments that are in place with this baseball complex. This complex is a hard time coming, and it's been a long time with a lot of starts and stops and everything else. I think it was maybe the third or fourth item I ever talked about when I joined this board. But the work that Jay and Sarah and folks have done, I know that at some point they'll do a presentation, and I'm sure it will be talked about when everybody, I'm sure, shows up at 8:30 in the morning on a nice, crisp, early Saturday morning. That will be opening day for SYA baseball. So there will be tons of folks there. They'll have their parade, all those kinds of things. So it'll be a great time with lots of folks. I hope folks will show up and attend, but I also just, the amount of work staff has done to make this possible, just enough can't be said from the very beginning, and the advocacy and the public meetings that we had, which were numerous, through the planning, through the development, through the actual building of it. It's been incredible work. So I just want to thank Jay and everybody for all they've done. So thank you all very much. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Jim?
Mr. Chairman, I'll pass.
All right. Do we have any other business to come before us this evening? Allison, anything else?
No, sir.
All righty then. And with that, I will adjourn the meeting. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Good night,
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, all.